hope you enjoy Hellboy. I'm Brandon.
I'm Zach.
Unfortunately, I'm Ryan at this moment.
And this is Nothing Coherent.
So, Avengers Endgame came out this weekend.
As of right now, with the numbers still climbing. It's at $350 million opening weekend domestically.
I'm so glad that I went the middle route so I couldn't possibly lose and have to go see Hellboy. That was the plan all along. I knew. I figured it would probably break 300, but I was like, I can't go above Brandon just in case.
I honestly didn't. I was not prepared for it to make that much money.
It's insane how much money this movie's making. It's sitting at $1.2 billion overall right now.
Yeah, worldwide, which I think we've talked a lot about
That's the
this.
fastest to
fastest to $1 billion.
It's broke every record, I think, within the opening weekend.
Yeah, we were fastest to certain numbers.
He and I were talking just before you came over to set up whether or not we thought that this movie could take down Avatar.
It won't.
I don't think it will. I want to be wrong, you were saying.
What was the ending numbers for Avatar?
Avatar is 2.7 billion.
Because you're
that
talking
is so crazy.
Yeah, because you're talking that's an overall they have to continually make a bunch of money, and the problem is there's enough competition. Whether or not and this
there's too many big movies about
that's what we're saying.
It comes out in 2 weeks, and then the week or the 2 weeks after that is Godzilla, and then you have Aladdin.
Well, yeah, it's enough stuff.
At this rate, I could see them crossing $2 billion.
Oh, I think.
No, it'll make $2 billion
easily.
Yeah.
I think
it'll slow down around 2.2, 2.3 probably.
I was thinking 2.4 was going to be its final gross.
I think whatever is above Titanic, and then it'll kind of fizzle out after that.
Yeah. Because Infinity War, I think, is at 2.1 billion?
No, it's 2.48 because it's just a little bit more Force Awakens.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was it's right around Force Awakens. I think this will pass Force Awakens.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying that out of my mind. I'm hoping it passes Titanic. I want it to pass Avatar 100%, but I just don't see it happening.
I would love for it to happen, but like you said, this movie's very front-loaded, meaning that everybody's going to go see it the first and second weekend, and then after that, people are going to be well, I've seen it, so if I'm going to go to the movies, am I going to see something new or something that I've seen? Also, it's 3 hours.
Since it turned out so well, on my social media, everyone's just hyping it up, too. So the people that weren't really interested,
they're I see what this is all about.
Sign me up. And the other thing, too, is all the movie showings are sold out. There's 6 o'clock in the morning shows that are sold out.
Yeah, around here, all showings are still sold out today.
Yeah.
And so, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I understand that, there's a demand for it. But how many of those are people who did see it this weekend and then,
people who haven't gotten a chance to because it's sold out? Yeah.
Or, I do think second weekend is a big number, but I think third weekend on it starts to be the...
Yeah, I heard Captain Marvel actually was number 2 at the box office this weekend because
I didn't see
that weren't able to go see Endgame. They were I'm going to go see a Marvel movie anyway.
I did hear, I could be wrong, the final numbers aren't in yet.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel was number 2 because of either people wanted to see, they were I need to see Captain Marvel before I see Endgame, or they were I wanted to see a superhero movie and I couldn't see.
Which is funny because that's the first time I think in box office history where 2 movies from the same franchise are back to back.
80. Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars Episode 4 were...
Oh, really?
Yeah, during a re-release.
They re-released it?
So it's been since then, yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. Okay, so quick, what we've been playing and watching. I haven't done a whole lot because school's kind of picked up.
Yeah.
I spent all my free time playing Katana Zero.
Okay.
I did beat it. It's about 6-hour little adventure. It is, you watched me play some of it.
Yeah.
It's a puzzle.
It looked
it's kind of like a puzzle game.
It looked like a love letter to Ninja Gaiden, but it also had Super Meat Boy level aspects of it, where it would show you all your failures or whatever.
So you basically are a ninja that you can clear out a room. Your goal is to clear out these rooms. You have to progress. You have to murder everybody in the room.
Right.
You can slow down time, and during that, when they shoot at you, you can knock bullets back.
Yeah.
You can aim to throw stuff. You have a time limit, and if you get hit once, you die.
Right.
So it's it is that puzzle thing. It's what is the word I'm looking for? It's the trial and error.
Yeah.
So you do something, go back, and just keep repeating it over and over. Really like it. I think Katana Zero is worth its $15. I loved it. I like the story. My problem is I don't like how open-ended it is.
What consoles is that available
Switch
for?
and PC.
Switch and PC. Okay.
I've heard there's potential DLC, and I was frustrated. So during the game, there are hidden things you can get that will allow you to unlock extra weapons, which I did not know. And there is a really cool weapon that I won't spoil, but it is a Nintendo exclusive weapon that you can get.
The Master Sword. That's just a guess. Oh, okay.
So, yeah, which I actually have the ability to unlock. I just haven't gone back and done it, but I really liked it. I definitely recommend it. It's like an 8 out of 10. Like, $15. It's a strong recommendation, but... So, what else do you guys want to do?
In the last 2 weeks, because I was just getting so hyped for Endgame, I went back and I watched a lot of MCU movies again. I watched Captain America First Avenger, Iron Man 3, Age of Ultron, Doctor Strange, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp. And they're all still really good. Like, I still love them. I appreciated First Avenger even more now that I've seen Endgame. Just because, like, everything with Captain America is so good. And we're going to get there. But, man, also Game of Thrones. I know that all of us have been watching that now.
Yeah.
Like, episode 3 is tonight, so that's supposed to be the big battle for Winterfell, which was, like, what I was really looking forward to. And people were like, you should watch Game of Thrones. And the big selling point for me was there's this giant, massive battle, and it's the longest one ever recorded for, like, film or TV. And I was like, okay, I'll watch that. And... I'm still on season 4, but I don't really care. Like, I've just kind of gotten to a standstill ever since Joffrey was poisoned. I was like, nothing will ever top that moment for me. Like, he had it coming. Like, he deserved it.
Yeah, I didn't like episode 1 of season 8 as much. I thought it was good. I thought it was a nice...
I thought episode 2 was better myself.
Yeah, well, 2 was like that... 2's like that closing character arc moment.
Yeah. It's like the calm before the storm.
Which was frustrating because I'm like, man, you made me care about a lot of people. Just that you're going to off them all again.
It's like we're gonna lose people. So like seeing them all sit around talking and just like reuniting.
Or having those like closing like moments of like...
a big one for me was Brienne of Tarth.
I think it was everyone's big moment.
I was like, oh, that moment's awesome. Like,
yeah. So, well, I think the first episode, since we didn't get to talk about the first episode on here, it was just nice to see everybody.
Yeah.
Like, and the episode's whatever. But like, you're like, oh,
I did
hey, John, how's it going?
I did like the comparison to the very first episode of the Queen Dany coming in. They played like the exact same music for when Robert Baratheon came riding in the very first episode, but they just used different instruments, so it sounded a little different.
I mean, I hadn't seen season 1 in like...
Yeah, I saw a video comparison of like everything from episode 1 to like the first episode.
A lot of people were like, "There's a lot of callbacks to the very first episode." I loved Bran and Jaime seeing each other at the end of that episode.
No, the Bran memes are great.
Yeah. I love the meme of the dragon looking at Jon, and they just like Photoshop Bran's face over it instead. I thought that was pretty good.
But like, here's my thing with the first episode, and like I love seeing everyone back. I mean, it has been 2017's 2 years.
Yeah.
But like, we have 6 episodes this season. I'm ready to like progress forward, which I get. You got to set everything up. It's fine, whatever. But I knew that the episode before the next was gonna be even more of that, so I was like, let's just
I think now, like, after we talk after this episode tonight, we're going to be like, no, slow everything down. No. Like, stop. Just
stop. There was 8 major moments in this one episode.
You're like, no, why?
And they're all deaths.
No one dies.
Oh, if no one died, I'd be kind of shocked.
Like, that or like I told them, it's just a tea party with the Night King.
They all just sit down and they have drinks.
Let's just talk about this.
Night King walks up, like, want a beer? And they're like, oh, this guy's not so bad, Yeah. He's like, I want to enforce a system where we vote, decide who rules.
We want this portion of the Northern Kingdom. We will take this portion of the Northern Kingdom.
That's all we want. It's cooler up here. It's nice.
We just did not like that you built that wall and made us pay for it. Okay, anyway.
But yeah. I mean, like, I love the moments of, like, them sitting around the fire and Podrick singing.
Yeah, that was really good. I liked that song.
All of that entire moment, like, the build-up to it, the payoffs, all the characters in that moment. Tyrion with Bran, there's got to be something more to that when he stays behind to talk to him.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested. And you read, like, all these, like, theories of, like, why this and that, but I'm interested. I was watching, like, a video of, like, when our first few scenes with Tyrion, and you just kind of forget about him, like, in the early seasons, like, what he was doing and stuff. But you're like, okay, like, it would be, I don't know how his story arc, or how he would have a path to the king. That would be a question for an expert, but it would be interesting to see if they try to wrap his thing all the way around to, like, the very end, at least, and do something. Because he came from, like, this weak little guy, now he's getting the courage, and now he's about to, like, he could try to come back. Now, for whatever, he's in guilt, so I have no idea. But his story arc is a lot more interesting now that we're at this point. He's still alive, and he's taking that last stand, so...
I'm going to be curious to see how, like, his relationship with Cersei plays out. If he lives past next episode. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be curious to see how a lot of things play out past the next episode.
Yeah.
Because I'm worried. I'm genuinely worried that it's going to be like a battle that a few people do die, but it doesn't, like, really progress the story. It was more like, hey, we just wanted to film this really cool battle. And then, like, we just have this battle again, but in King's Landing.
King's Landing.
Yeah.
Which I get totally fine with, but, like, this battle, I want to be their final stand against the Night King, but I just don't see it happening.
Well, and the other thing is like, Cersei's armies and stuff are just chilling.
Yeah.
Like, how everything's playing out. So that's what...
Part of me is thinking that, like, she's waiting to send her army in to pick up the scraps after this battle.
Jamie even says that.
Well, and that's kind of what they've... I mean, that's, like, the plan, basically. Right. But what I'm interested in is, like, somehow if... the only one story arc that I could kind of see that could happen is that Jamie... Like, Cersei dies somehow, whatever the case may happen, towards the end. Jamie takes over the army or whatever and just neutralizes everything. When he has the chance to become king, but he does it for the greater good and steps down and lets Daenerys or Jon.
Yeah,
whatever happens at that point.
I don't think Jon wants leadership.
I don't think he wants it. I think it's gonna be thrusted upon him.
Yeah, maybe. What's weird is after watching that episode, like, I didn't, like, Daenerys was, like, cool. Like, I'm not favored for her or against her. It's more like, okay, she wins.
If we were voting in a political system, I'd be voting for Jon.
Yeah. Jon would be my leader. If I had to choose the leaders, I'd be like, that guy is telling us straight exactly what, like,
I don't know,
he wants and what
there's something about telling a woman who has dragons no that just, like, terrifies me. No, Khaleesi, you can't be queen. Like, we're not going to allow that.
Well, I said that's what we're talking about in a voting system.
Not dictatorship with dragons.
No, those dragons are ruling the vote in her favor either way. Like.
Okay, one prediction. Do you think she's going to lose another dragon this episode?
I think if they're going to lose another dragon, it'll be in a battle at King's Landing. Not this one.
I don't know. And somebody's already taken out one.
Somebody told me this theory. I don't think she loses the dragon here. I don't even think I don't think the ice dragon... Okay, hold on. I don't think she loses the dragon in the Battle of Winterfell tonight. Do you remember the trailer or the vision for Season 4 where a dragon was flying over King's Landing?
Yeah.
Somebody told me at breakfast the other day that maybe that the Night King leaves. Like, this is only part of the army. And he takes part of him with the dragon and goes and attacks King's Landing at the same time. And that's the vision that you saw with the dragon flying over King's Landing is there.
And they're gonna.
I was reading something about that, and then when they think they defeated all that, they come back and to find Cersei or whatever, and then it's just wiped out or whatever, and it's just more army. And then that's like the final showdown in the 6th episode, and we just don't realize it. So that would be actually one of the best plot twists that you could probably.
Or they like defeat the army. They're like, we did not defeat the Night King, and Bran's like,
you
never did.
Out,
and then he's like, he like communicates with him again, or like sees him, and he's like, oh, and like realizes he made a stronger army.
Yeah, you're like, guys, we're screwed.
He's like, they've got boats.
Oh gosh, I can't even imagine what the whole boat thing.
Sorry, but yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, I think obviously this is like the episode that everybody's waiting for. But I think from here on out, I mean,
it's gonna pick up.
I hope so.
No matter what, like I think the 4th episode there may not be as many deaths.
Probably the repercussion of,
but it's more of like the reflection of everybody that died and like how they're
like
getting back together,
and whatever their next move needs to be. Because like I think the next episode, if like the Night King doesn't die and gets away, it's like them pursuing.
They've got to chase him, because otherwise,
you only have so much time.
It's Bran just in the wheelchair chasing him.
It's just him and the Night King. He's like, come back here, yo.
The Night King's just like running away, and Bran's just rolled after him. He's like, dang it, the snow.
He's just wheeling down.
Final episode, he has like a little traction on his like tires or whatever.
That's the next 3 episodes actually. 4, 5, and 6 is just an hour each.
He's like, I'm the 3-eyed Raven. I've got to stop this.
It's Ravens dragging his body across.
They just pick up his wheelchair or whatever and just drop him off.
Like, oh, we missed the king again. He's like, let's try again.
He's like, I don't feel anything anyway. Just keep on going.
Dragon just lands on
what
the
we
Night
do
King
for love. Oh, when he said that though, when they're like trialing, I was like, oof.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, like you're.
He's
dead.
like, are you mad about this or whatever? And
he's
goes,
like, I am no longer Bran Stark.
He's like, oh.
The Raven.
He's like, I just feel bad that I pushed
I just expect him to like crow like a raven in like an episode and be like laughing.
Dude, what if he
like
just
a raven?
transforms into a raven
and he just flies away?
And we're like,
makes a transformer noise.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the frick is happening?
It's just not even Game of Thrones anymore. It's just like something, and then at the end it's like directed by M. Night Shyamalan
and Michael Bay.
And Michael Bay.
Well, as long as we have enough explosions.
Did you see Bran's actor talked in an interview because they were talking about the squinting and everything?
Yeah, how he actually
was
can't see.
Yeah, like they won't let him wear his contacts or his glasses because
so
like Sophie Turner was like, it felt like you were staring at my soul. He's like, I literally cannot see.
He's like, I don't even know if that was you.
Who am I talking to? Is this the scene with Jon or Daenerys?
I am Raven.
Just listen.
They have like a little earpiece. They're like, okay, you need to turn left.
Just listen for your cue. If you've read the script, you know where you're at.
Gosh. I wonder, like, why he just didn't wear contacts. Like,
I think they said they liked how
he looked.
How he was just struggling.
Yeah. Okay, so quick thoughts tonight. Biggest one death prediction. No bets. I'm not betting anything.
Yeah, you've gotten your one win.
I think Brienne will die after being knighted. I think that Jaime will be in King's Landing.
Jorah
for sure.
Jorah dies tonight, I think. And if that's my one. I'm gonna bet one, and we'll talk in a second real quick. But that's my I will be genuinely surprised if he does not die.
Yeah, I think those are the 2 that are most likely.
I think there are more, but I mean, it kind of just depends on what the episode actually is.
Yeah, like it could go.
We know nothing. Even the footage shows nothing.
Yeah,
so
it's
yeah, it shows Brianna Tarth.
It shows her, Jon.
Yeah, but at the same time, when they do that, it's usually the opposite.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just say that
whoever's
she's not
in the
die.
tombs.
Yeah.
They all are dying.
Yeah, that may be a
that's the big thing.
We talked a long time about that though, about the crypts. And I just feel like that's so predictable. I mean, it's probably what's going to happen, but I hate that how predictable and how much they built it up. And so
yeah,
I just don't want to see that. But
that little girl's going to protect them though.
So yeah, she will.
She will. Yeah. She just kills the Night King and it's just over. What?
Or the Night King transfers his powers to her.
Oh god.
She is the Night King.
She just goes crazy. Yeah, it's like she's been like the spy.
Good lord.
She turns around, her eyes are just blue.
And she just stares at whoever goes down to the crypt.
She pulls a full-on Anakin, starts killing the younglings.
She walks up there and Bran's like, "What
have
you done?"
Not just the men, but the women,
the children,
and the children too.
Gosh, I do like the idea of the Iron Bloods the Ironborn defending Bran and think they're gonna win, and then everyone from the crypt coming out. But
yeah,
I also think that's just we'll see if it's executed well. I won't mind.
I won't care either
way. There's a part of me
that
thinks that Tyrion could die.
I do too.
In this,
I feel like he's going to make it to King's Landing.
Well, see, that's what we want.
Right.
We want that final showdown.
Yeah, I wanted Robb to live.
Yeah. Well, okay. All right. I'll give you that. This is Game of Thrones. I have to think about it in that perspective.
So if I'm thinking we all want Tyrion to make it and see Cersei one last time, whatever the show.
I want all 3 of them to see each other one last time, and then we
her try to kill Tyrion, and then Jaime strike her down.
Jaime strikes her down. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to see.
I visualized Jaime doing the sacrifice kind of play.
Right. I think Jaime will die. I just don't think it's this episode.
Yeah. Okay. So I do think
we'll see.
I imagine our finale topic is going to take a while, maybe. So we'll but I do think
I definitely think there has to be one major character because there's too many different
I do. No, I agree.
There's only so many episodes left, so I mean, you have to start eliminating something going on, unless they just do a complete wipeout, like all of a sudden at the same time. You're like,
they kill 12 characters tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they kill a bunch tonight.
We've already had a very emotional week. Yeah. Let alone.
No, I wouldn't be. I will say this.
We're all gonna break down.
I would also not be surprised if this has been misdirection and they don't kill anyone.
Yeah.
Like, I will not be surprised if the battle's just amazing, but like nobody really dies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then it all happens.
Yeah, some minor
deaths. Like maybe like characters that like you do care about a little bit, but not to the same extent to like
Gondry or Gendry.
Gendry.
I could see him dying just because he had the whole thing with Arya.
Well, and he's. I think I want him to live.
He has a chance to become king too.
Yeah. Well, and it would loop back to the beginning when they talked
about joining houses between Baratheon and Stark.
Yeah, which that'd be kind of cool if she was took over.
I saw a meme of and it was like when it's your first time and you're left completely dissatisfied and it's just like her face was just laying in bed. And I'm like,
just gazing out into the.
I was like, oh, and now you're about to enter a battle where you could die.
But so news. Let's talk about that real quick, so we can jump into our Avengers.
I've been playing Skyrim again, and I actually streamed that. You can catch that on twitch.tv/jitteryjackanapes. Okay. Basically, my character is an unarmed Khajiit, and I'm running around and bashing things with my claws, and it's hilarious how overpowered you get. Okay, on to news.
So first, Detective Pikachu reactions have been overwhelmingly positive.
Good.
Even more so, I was reading today, more have come out that there were people that were like, you can watch this movie without having watched Pokemon. Like, as long as you maybe have a general idea of what they are, like, that these creatures exist, how they work.
Good.
The number one thing I've heard in the, like, reviews and stuff is cute.
Yeah.
They are cute.
Which is the selling point.
That's the point of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, there are some Pokemon that look, like, awesome, and then there are some Pokemon that look cute, and then there are some that look downright terrifying.
Yeah, the Gengar looks terrifying. I don't know if you've seen, like, a full shot of him.
I've seen a shot of him,
oh my gosh.
I'm like, I can't wait for them to just, like, expand this Pokemon universe. You could technically do a, like, Lavender Town horror film of Pokemon.
I don't see that happening, but...
Like, like a Goosebumps type of movie where, like, ghost Pokemon are, like, taking over the town or something, and that could be interesting. I'm not saying
that
they
idea,
would do that.
and Zach could be a millionaire.
I really just want this movie to do well so I can get sequels and not look like an idiot when I kept saying $1 billion. And now that Avengers... Like, I'm genuinely scared because, like, I thought Avengers would do, like, well, but not this well. So, like, I don't know if everything in its path is going to be crushed or if Pokemon can stand up and, like, take on the brute force.
Avengers Endgame will not be very effective on Detective Pikachu over in Japan. So
I hope so.
I think Japan will carry that movie.
Well, it'll die down, I think, just enough to where it can...
Like we were talking about, that drop-off point, I think, of, like, the first 2, maybe 3 weeks...
Well, week 3 is Pokemon.
Yeah,
so that's where the issue
They're going to compete more with Lion King than anything.
Well, that's not until July. They've got
some time.
Yeah, I guess it's a few.
If anything, it's Aladdin that they
Aladdin. That's what I'm thinking. I keep on switching Lion King and
Aladdin. Aladdin will like the problem is really is they have too much. Like literally, we were talking about this. Starting with the week of Detective Pikachu, it's Pikachu, John Wick, Aladdin, Godzilla / Rocket Man / then there's like a bunch of other smaller films like Brightburn.
It's absolutely crazy what we're about to go through. There's going to be so Avengers Endgame literally just kicked it off, and then we got Game of Thrones through the midst of this, and then like I mean straight up, this is probably the best kickoff to a summer that you could ever have.
And all these movies just need to deliver. That's
Star Wars at the very end of the year. So it's like 2019 is one of the biggest years for like entertainment in general.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones comes to an end.
I didn't mention Star Wars.
Endgame is wrapping up.
What do you mean?
Everything for the MCU.
Oh, I was going to see. Do you guys think at this point, with opening week and how crazy it is, do you think Star Wars can beat this?
No.
I don't
There's not a chance. There's no chance. I had this argument with somebody else too. Even if you looked at the number, Force Awakens would have been the one that did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If any of them were, because Force Awakens was more of an event than
right, because you had all that hype from not getting a Star Wars movie since 2005.
Yeah. Now, granted, I could be totally wrong, but Avengers, even the most Variety broke down Avengers, even at like what it would have been for it to like sell out most theaters, and their ending number was 268, and so like for it to make 350 and continue to grow, like that number was just unprecedented. Like no one actually thought it'd make anywhere near that. Now I think at the end of the run, domestically, Star Wars might make more.
Yeah.
But not opening weekend.
No, I don't think opening weekend.
But Avengers will be higher in the end, like final run.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really close. I really do.
You think opening weekend?
I think it'll be a lot closer than what we think it is.
You want to bet?
Right now, are we really doing this?
I will bet this far out. Because I'm serious. I've followed box office for like the last few years in like...
I know. I'm not... And I don't even want to say that it's going to beat it or anything. I just think it's going to be a lot closer than what we think it is on the gap. And I think part of it's because Star Wars, I mean, in a way, I know like we're talking about the last 11 years of Marvel.
Minimum.
What?
I said I think it's like $100 million difference.
Yeah, I do too. I would be genuinely surprised if
it breaks 250.
Yeah, if it comes close to 250. If it makes more than Force Awakens, I will be genuinely surprised. Because Force Awakens was 247.
Yeah. I think once Disney slows down with all this other stuff in the summer and they really start like doing the campaign for Star Wars, I think the hype will eventually start building. I mean, it's like 40 years, and they're going to sell it on that.
I'm aware of that, and
yeah.
I get
so
that.
I think, I mean, if anything, they're going to just try to pull. And if Palpatine or anything, if they show any footage of anything like that, I think that's what's going to spark it. To be enough to where you're like, oh crap, the bad guy from back 70s, and then all different generations are going to be affected because it's the same villain.
Don't get me wrong, I want to see...
That would be my point, is that I think... And everything will calm down enough at that point where I think, everybody's kind of over the summer and the fall's hitting back up and then you got, the Christmas groove of...
Right, I will be genuinely surprised.
I don't think Star Wars has any competition.
So here's the thing. You wouldn't think Jumanji would be competition, but the last one destroyed Last Jedi's legs in North America.
Jumanji?
Mm-hmm.
Jumanji made $1 billion.
Over $1 billion.
Which is just... That's just so stupid to me, but...
It's because Last Jedi had such bad word of mouth, and so,
all right, listen,
that's the thing.
You cannot disrespect Jack Black and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson like that.
Just for $1 billion...
Yeah, which is what's scary, is this one could do it too. Yeah. And so, that's the thing, the week after Star Wars, if families are burned out, or, I don't know. We'll see. I
think Frozen will also be out around that time, won't it?
It's 3 weeks before, so it won't... I mean...
I don't think it...
Yeah, but with Christmas being right there, where are you taking your kids?
If it is second wave, yeah. I don't know. They're
going to maximize toy sales. That's what I do know. And we won't hear freaking any more Frozen crap for 2 more years.
There's going to be a new song. Instead of it being Let It Go, it's going to be Bring It Back or something.
I am gay. I am gay. Oh, no. Honestly, I would be willing to bet that Star Wars doesn't make over $250 million opening weekend. But here's the thing with Force Awakens' domestic run is it didn't have any competition. Everybody knew then that nothing else released.
They're like, yeah, you don't.
Nothing released in December or January because everyone was scared of Force Awakens. This one, people are after
Last Jedi, they're like, oh, we can do this. We can take on Star Wars.
Because domestic Star Wars run for Last Jedi was all super low. Well, I mean $600 million, but that's low for
low for Star Wars.
What they were projecting.
Well, like I said, obviously it has to be how it's made.
Right.
What those critics... So that's the problem. Now, JJ is back, so, I mean, if that helps at least some of the serious Star Wars people, but no matter what, the Star Wars fans are going to watch it anyway.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
Right.
So it's really just the word of mouth.
But in that vein...
casual market.
In that vein, I mean, Solo should have been that case, and I mean, look at that. And I get it. You can make the case for our bad time, but even if you want to make that case... Even if you want to sit there and argue that, if you're real Star Wars fans turn out for Star Wars movies, then Solo should have been the perfect example of that, and no one turned out for that.
Yeah, Solo did not do well on its return. I think it actually lost money.
Yeah, it lost over $80 million. So, I'm just saying, using the argument that Star Wars fans will come out for this is just wrong. It doesn't work.
I do believe in Star Wars fatigue.
I do think it's real. I think Episode 9 will be the make or break, though, of it. If it doesn't... If it doesn't make a crazy amount of money, then fatigue is real and it's going to have to make a break.
I think after Episode 9, they need to just focus on their Disney Plus stuff.
Which, that's what they're basically...
it sounds like that's where they're moving.
It seems like they're moving away from movies for a while, which I think is the smart decision.
They're working on their trilogy with the Game of Thrones guys, which sounds like it's Old Republic from everything, the leaks and stuff.
Which sounds awesome.
That's the best, I think the best route they can go right now.
Yeah.
Get rid of this, in the current stuff
Get away from all the Skywalker stuff.
Let's focus on some of this cool, lore kind of stuff.
Yeah, let's go back farther.
Yeah.
Let's not stop.
Yeah.
In between the trilogies, let's go before.
Let's go way before.
Let's try to build
even,
some of this up because that's what I think. There's more interesting stuff before
right,
the
like
prequel.
seeing all these
And everybody loves Jedis. Everyone loves lightsaber fights.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you sell like Knights of the Old Republic where you're like, hey, this is.
Well, and you got Game of Thrones guys doing it.
Yeah.
Just think about like the action sequences.
You've got a giant battle of Jedi versus Sith. Like, picture like hundreds of Jedi versus hundreds of Sith.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
that's what people want.
You could literally have
I remember that in
the
Attack
biggest...
of the Clones when that blew my mind. Like, when all the Jedi fought the droids at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is going to be episode 3. Like, it's just going to be Jedi together fighting. And they all died.
Yeah.
I was like, they're all going to die in a battle. Like, that's what I thought was going to happen as a kid. I was like, they have to die. And I mean, they do.
But, to wrap it all back, I do think... I will not be surprised if it somehow broke the opening weekend, but I mean, like, I just cannot actually fathom it making...
They didn't even think Endgame was going to make this much opening weekend.
Yeah, even Disney's low estimate was like...
It's still going up. That's the thing. Like, right now it's at what, 355, you said?
350.
350. It could probably hit like 360, 370 by the time we're done.
They basically project like the rest of Sundays whenever they announce
so it's
it.
kind of a guess.
Yeah, so I mean, it's probably not going to go up too much more.
So just for clarity, on Saturday night, the official amount was 269. Mm-hmm. So this is them lowballing it because it was shooting for anywhere between 90 to 130 million again for Sunday.
Yeah, which you have to one thing that we have to kind of think about is the max potential a theater can output at this point when you have everything sold out. So really what theaters obviously do is they just add more showings. So that's I think you have your initial amount of maybe like 300 billion on maxed out theater, and then like on their normal, and then maybe that extra 50 billion or something like that, or 50 million.
Yeah, as long as you said billion.
50 billion.
50 million is
Mickey
more
Mouse
like the extra shows,
right? And that's the thing that like from when I worked at Regal, they explained to us that like because people were like, well, why don't you add showings for Guardians because it was selling out like crazy, and they're like, well, if we do that, then we have to exclusively turn that theater into Guardians all week because Disney has this rule when you put it on that screen. You have to give up whatever else. I mean, like we were looking at showtimes for Hellboy for you, and they've like Regal itself is the only place showing it, but they've shut down all of their screens. Like Hellboy's been removed from the other theaters because they've just moved Avengers into all of them. So like the rest of this week is all, and that's what we're talking about. Like honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these theaters just exclusively played Avengers outside of like a few other films.
Yeah, top 5 films kind of thing.
Yeah, but I'll be curious to see that. PS5 had a quick info dump, which I thought was really ridiculous after we were like, we're not going to record next week. Like the day after, they were like, here's the PS5 information, which no release date, but the only thing that like you can easily explain to me was the load times. Everything else I just need to see. But IGN did a video of like what the load times would be comparison. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I remember. I've read so much the last couple weeks.
So they used the video footage. They basically remade the video footage that was talked about in the article of Spider-Man, which is... Do you remember the subway where it takes like 15, 20 seconds to load?
And they were talking...
It was like instant.
They did the comparison. Yep, I saw that.
And so that was like... I was like, if that's true, I was like, I'll be blown away.
Just no load time at all.
Basically no load time.
Yeah. Which it seems like it's... And that gives games a lot more time to develop to build up to the PS5. Yeah. So once you have that for another 10 years or 7 years or whatever the PS5 is.
6 with no load time.
I know. Well, and they talked about Death Stranding might be cross-platform 4 and 5, which doesn't. I mean, that was like the easy. It was either going to be that or Last of Us, but the rumor is Last of Us is coming out.
I've heard Last of Us is coming out. Yeah, this year.
There's a Sony UK or something like that leaked it out, and then
and I'm like. Is that real?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Everyone kind of said 2019 or 2020.
If that game comes out this year, you guys aren't going to be able to record with me until I'm done. I got to platinum that game.
Like Days Gone, which I have not heard great things about, and I actually canceled my pre-order.
I didn't end up pre-ordering it.
I had it paid off, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get this. I switched it to Crash Team Racing, and
we never ended up playing Division 2 together.
Yeah, I sold it, so.
I still have it sitting in my room, and I'm like, one day you're going to get played.
There's a trade bonus where I got like $52 back for it, so I was like, I'm trading this in and getting something else.
Crash Team Racing.
Well, I paid off, I think that's when I paid off Days Gone, and then I was like, I'm not getting Days Gone. I paid off Crash Team Racing.
They're like, man, this guy just pre-orders things and then he like comes in and gets a different game. In like 2 weeks, he's gonna come in and cancel Crash Team Racing.
I have like 3 games paid off. We'll see if I actually pick up any of them. One's Rage 2, one's Crash, and one's
I'm gonna wait on Rage 2 before I get it.
Yeah.
I've heard it's like okay. I saw somebody play a review copy of it, but
what? I guess it does come out soon.
Yeah.
There's one other game, Super Mario Maker 2, but I was just gonna get that no matter what. So.
I want to get that, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't have as much fun building levels as I do playing them.
But I like the idea of just being able to play everyone's created levels.
Yeah.
So the last news thing is that I think this broke yesterday, but the in-game news was kind of covering it. Vin Diesel confirmed that John Cena will be joining Fast 9 in place of The Rock, since they're basically still fighting.
I kind of like that. I think that's hilarious. But I want John Cena to literally follow the exact same path of The Rock. Where
he's the same character, and they just
no. They don't even like change his name or anything.
No, like he gets in there. He actually is acting and like really bringing his A game, and like they love him so much that they give him his own spinoff franchise. And
Shaw and Cena.
Shaw.
Yeah, let's add him on.
As long as Cena gets to do like his finishing move to somebody, like how The Rock did in Furious 7.
Oh yeah, that was 7. Yeah, when he's fighting Statham.
Yeah, and he freaking rock bottoms him through the glass table.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, yes! Like that is one of my favorite characters in that entire series. Hobbs is probably my favorite.
I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't gonna watch the Hobbs and Shaw trailer until it played before Avengers because I didn't want to because everyone said it gave away a lot.
Oh,
but like watching that trailer and everyone around me was like, "That's ridiculous." I'm like, "That's literally all I want. This movie just has to be stupid." Like
I love that they're going to like Samoa and they're like, "We gotta fight him on our turn."
When he's like holding the helicopter back, I'm like, the one person.
Like, this is Cap.
I was like, well, the one person I genuinely in real life believe could do that is The Rock.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, hey, The Rock today took down a helicopter, I'd be like, yeah, probably.
It's just typical.
It's The Rock. Are you kidding me? The Rock is an 8-time World Wrestling Heavyweight Champion.
They are like
that man does not care.
They are pros at promotional things. Mm-hmm. They are so good with trailers.
When I saw that trailer, though, I was like, "What am I looking at?"
Now,
like,
granted, I do feel like it does show a lot, but I mean that's not why you don't watch the movie for the plot. You watch it for the action set.
Also, The Rock's cousin is in that movie, Roman Reigns. He's one of the like Samoan guys. He's the one that like attaches the truck.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm actually really excited for this. Please just start throwing in more like big body wrestlers like to go in there and do ridiculous things. Send them into space. Have them team up with like the Transformers. I don't care at this point. Do whatever you want with this series.
Fast 9.
Fast 10 is supposed to be the last numbered Fast movie.
And we gotta go to space. We have to.
So maybe it'll be like an Avengers moment where they like Hobbs and Shaw show up and like Han and Gazelle.
Listen, we just need to have Vin Diesel drifting on the moon, trying to drive away from some crazy guy that's gonna launch a nuke at the Earth. Yeah,
it's aliens.
Aliens. Yeah, okay.
Aliens like we've stolen your cars.
And he's like, you know the thing about fights, the humans always win, and he stomps on the moon.
And the moon breaks in half.
I want to mention this because we haven't mentioned this. The Men in Black International.
That's the thing.
I'm actually interested. I like the idea that they're giving us more of that universe because I really like the idea of seeing all these different aliens and stuff. I like Chris Hemsworth and Vanessa Thompson Tessa Thompson as a duo. I don't know why I said Vanessa, but I like them as a duo in Ragnarok. So I hope that we just get that same chemistry for this movie.
Yeah, I like the cast. I like the director a lot. It's just the trailer doesn't do anything for me. Like I watch it and I'm like,
you don't get that vibe of goosebumps or anything.
But I don't even get like that nostalgia of I grew up with the Men in Black franchise. Like I like all of them.
Yeah.
2's whatever.
2 is kind of rough, but 1 and 3 are still really good.
Like I like 3. I got a little emotional during 3 when they show how everything played out.
3 was kind of sad.
But like at the end of the day, like they're just like I enjoy them, but they're not like it's not like the level of like Ghostbusters. Like that Ghostbusters trailer just shows Ecto-1. I'm like
people are like going nuts over that, and then Men in Black is like, oh hey, we're coming back too. And
I mean like it looks fine.
Right. I mean, what you got there? Aliens, okay.
I probably won't see it unless reviews are positive.
If the reviews are really good, I'll definitely go.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those silent or those movies that we have not talked about, but just kind of lingering.
My main appeal for that is literally Chris Hemsworth being in that movie.
Yeah. That's why I think
that's
they have to have a big star to be able to carry them.
And a lot of it comes from I think they saw them in Ragnarok, and so just basically flipped right around and was like, we're gonna do this movie with him.
Yeah, And Liam Neeson's in there too, so like I think people are kind of excited about that. I hope he just plays his character from the movies Taken. Like he's like, I don't know who you are.
I don't know where I am.
I don't know what planet I'm on, but I will find you, and I will wipe your memory. Like, and he just uses the flashy thing and like. So
they were like big trip. I feel like other stuff came out this week.
Of one, like
I did not write down anything because I figured Avengers would take. Anyway, whatever.
I can't really think of anything. If there is something major, we can cover it next week. Do we want to just get to Endgame?
Yeah, I don't even. What we're gonna do next week? We'll figure that out, I guess. So we're gonna do this in 2 segments. I figured the spoiler talk will take much longer.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, though. We're gonna try to keep. I mean, like, I want very vague. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna go first, so you can kind of get an idea of what we need to do. So, first impressions is I can't believe this movie exists and that it's actually good. I think it's well acted.
Yeah, I do too.
I think Evans, Downey. I actually think, and this is what I talked about, I think across the board, for once, it's not just like, these people did amazing. It was everyone did amazing. Like, I felt compelled by every character in this movie. I cared about Nebula, I cared about Rhodey, I cared about Rocket, I cared about Thor,
characters that you normally are like, oh, they're there, I like them, but like they don't have real character moments. They all have like big moments. Like for me, it was Downey and Hawkeye. Like
I think there were some of the standouts. That's as vague as we should keep it, though. No plot.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I mean, granted, everyone's probably seen the movie, but we'll get just in case.
But yeah, like, I mean, every character is important in this movie. Like, they all have something to do. Like, all the moments that happen that are big, like, they meet, I think, everybody's expectation. Like, once you, like, it's all good.
There's a point where you're reflecting on these characters and stuff.
Right.
And you have, and not saying that anybody dies or doesn't die or whatever the case may be, but you have closure at this end of this phase with these characters.
Like this is the movie that wraps up literally the first 10 years of the MCU.
11.
Yeah. Well, 11 now, yeah, but it's nuts to see how far we've come with superhero movies, because like when the first Avengers came out, I think a lot of people didn't think it would work with how many heroes there were. Like, people were like, that's going to be hard to do. And then it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And now Endgame is the biggest of all of them. And it still works. Like, the Russo brothers, like, they deserve all the praise for directing a movie as polished as that is. And they filmed Infinity War and Endgame back to back. So
I think you also have to look at Feige, who's always had the vision.
Yeah.
Like, from the beginning, who's been able to give a guiding force and keep this in line. I will say, I guess I'll give a score, and then we'll get ready to do spoiler talk. I'd say it's a 10.
I do too.
But I think that 10 comes with an asterisk of, like, I don't think it's better than Winter Soldier or, like, some of the other standalone movies, because I feel like Endgame, you have to see the rest of them.
Yeah.
Endgame does not work without seeing all of them.
Yeah,
all of them.
You literally have to watch all of them.
It is a payoff. It is a closure. It's a season finale. That, like,
it's
if
like
you
just
just
up
watched
a TV series or something.
Yeah. Like, granted, I think you can still get some of the emotion, but, like, the same level of that emotion just doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, the emotional payoff isn't as high if you've only seen, like, half of the MCU movies.
So,
like, you get, like, these characters and who they are, essentially, unless you are that one person who hasn't watched, like, Guardians of the Galaxy, and then you're wondering who's this blue chick that's with all the Avengers. Like, other than that, like, you've seen all these characters, you've seen them grow, and you get to see the payoff for their entire character arcs going back to their very first film. Like, all these characters have important moments that, like, have changed over the course of the series, and we get everything wrapped up. Like, there's nothing left undone.
Yeah, I think when we come down to ranking again, which I don't know when we'll do it, probably wait until the end of this year. Or maybe, anyway, we'll just maybe add in. I don't know where I'd put it, because that's the thing of, like...
It's definitely top 5 for me.
It is top 5. I almost...
It's probably
it's top 3. But, like, where... I don't know if I have to, like, redefine how I think about Winter Soldier on, like, the MCU list.
See, I'm trying to think of how I look at it as the direct sequel to Infinity War. Because Infinity War was my number 1.
I think it's a direct sequel to everything. Like, and that's what we said. Somebody was like, "Well, you have to watch Just Infinity War." I'm like, "No, you have to watch."
No, you need to watch all the Iron Man movies, all the Cap movies, all the Thor movies, the Guardians movies, Ant-Man movies, and then all the other standalones that are in there. So it's like literally everything that you thought going in, like you had no idea what you were getting into. Like I think a lot of people were like, "I can predict what happens in this movie." You can't. Like there's some things that it's like, "Oh yeah, that'll probably happen," but certain things that happen, like, in all the acts, you're like, wow, okay.
Yeah, but, sorry, we didn't let you give your...
Oh, I'm just listening.
Thoughts?
I don't really have any major issues with this movie, which I don't think most people do. Pacing and everything, this is a big thing for me on Infinity War, when you have so many characters and so much to absorb, so much emotion, so many things tied in. You're on your... the first time you watch it, this is one of those movies, the first time you watch it, obviously you don't know exactly what's going to happen, and so you're on your seat. And they tease you a lot, and they pull your emotions the right way. And that's what a movie is truly supposed to do. And I think they did a perfect job at that. I think that I rewatched it back to back. And
so for record, the three of us all did a 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't regret that one bit.
Yeah, I thought I would, but after we got into it, I was like, "No, this is worth it."
Yeah, the end of the first act, the beginning of the second act, I was getting tired, and then I woke
it instantly wakes you up.
Yeah.
You're like,
I wasn't like that at all. Like the entire first and second act, I was still sitting on the edge of my seat, like just looking for every single Easter egg I could find. Like.
Yeah.
It was nuts watching that movie and just looking for anything to be like, that was a callback, that was a callback, that was a callback, that was a callback. This is going to be important later. Right.
And I
had a mental web in my head of
if it wasn't midnight or whatever.
By the time we got through the first act, it was 11 o'clock. So I'm like,
I was overanalyzing everything.
Yeah.
The first show
for me, I mean, it's at least a 9 out of 10. I may put a 9.5 on it. Everything that we're wanting, I think it accomplished that. From the generic Marvel fan, I think how everything came into play and how they done it. I think some of I don't want to say any spoilers. I'm trying to describe. That's the problem. That's the really hard part with this is, I think how they get their solution at the end of the movie is not 100% confusing by any means.
We can talk about the spoiler part. You can
follow it and stuff, but I think that's the only thing that's a little bit maybe misconnected some, and that's just because of what it is or that solution.
We'll discuss. So, I've got a case for that.
And I'm not even complaining about it. They went that route, and I'm happy they went that route. Yeah. I'm not complaining about that, but that's when you took that route. That's your complicated part that you kind of tied in with it. So, I really enjoyed the movie. The rewatchability, that's a huge thing for me.
I think this movie is super rewatchable.
I didn't have a single problem with it. What I can't wait is when it comes out on movie, and I watch Infinity War and that back to back, which is a whole day event. But
I really think that some theaters should offer that as a thing. Be you can watch Infinity War and then you have a 10 or 15 minute intermission and then you go straight into Endgame.
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun for
I know a lot of theaters do double features.
One of my favorite...
I would have went and paid to see that.
One of my favorite things about this movie, without saying anything about it, is the first scene. Mm-hmm. It's just like that.
Yeah.
It picks up exactly...
It just immediately goes.
Immediately.
Yeah. But let's...
Yeah.
I will say one quick final thing that's not a spoiler. All 3 times I've seen this movie now, the runtime never felt like 3 hours.
It didn't. It really doesn't.
The first act does feel a little slow, but once you it's only slow for a little bit. And it's slow because it needed to be. It earned it. It was hey, we need to set up
we have to establish
there was no
what
problem
we're
with
doing
it. Yeah,
the
first watch on it.
I didn't feel like it was slow at all.
I didn't feel like it was slow at all. The second watch, since you just watched the thing, you already know. And everything's so detailed and crisp in your mind, especially when you're anticipating everything that's going on. Right. You're looking at everything. So that was a little slow. So watching it after a few days of not watching it, then I think that will go a lot quicker.
Yeah. That was the last thing I wanted to give on the. So for anyone who hasn't seen Endgame, this is your cutoff. Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcast. I haven't done this in a while. Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram at Coherent Nothing or Nothing Coherent. And then follow Zach at Twitch/TV, Jittery Jackanape.
Yep.
So thanks for listening. Now we'll get into spoiler talk. You guys we'll give it 5 seconds. Huh? Come on.
So, the real hero of this movie is not Captain America. It's not Iron Man. It is the Rat.
The Rat that frees Ant-Man from the quantum realm is the hero of this story. What if he didn't exist within those last 5 years and they undid everything, so then Ant-Man went back into the quantum realm and then, like, it didn't matter? Because there's actually, 5 years ago, Doctor Strange, like, somebody was about to kill the rat, and Strange just, like, protects it.
Strange's like, no!
He's like, you'll come in handy later.
He just, like, saves this rat on the streets of, like, San Francisco. He's like, all right, now you need to go to San Francisco.
Or it's like when,
Ratatouille, save us!
It has a system, so when Strange does, the rat just gets released.
Yeah.
And he's like, go. Somebody also pointed out the cage that Scott Van is saved in is 616, which is the Marvel Universe 616, which... So main spoilers, I guess, would be...
time travel.
Time travel, which is weird, but I've decided in my mind that I'm just not going to try to figure it out, because then...
I think that they're going to explain it over the movies.
How they... Well, I don't care if they explain it. They never have to explain it. Yeah. I don't want them to go back and explain it. How I understood is it's this line.
Right.
And so, because they went back and fixed everything, so, like, they were here, and, like, when Cap goes back here, he just stays on that same line.
Yep.
Granted, I mean, that means he could have changed things, who knows, but...
I like to think that he had to have changed some stuff.
Yeah, but,
I mean, if you really wanted to get into
there
it,
could be, like, Loki with the Tesseract, here's another timeline. Here's a timeline where Thanos... Because Thanos came from 2014.
Mm-hmm. And now he's dead.
Yeah, and so there's a timeline that exists without Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then Ruffalo also explains it of like, so here's the timeline, here's your beginning, and here's your end. But if you travel here, then this is your... How do you explain it?
That's your past self, and that doesn't change.
Yeah, but this is your new future.
So,
right.
My only problem with this whole time travel thing is, like, that's fairly accurate, like, on time travel standards. But, from what we know of time travel...
Yeah, I'm going to say it's hard to be like...
Yeah, because nobody's actually time travel. We have no idea how it would actually work. Like,
yeah, they're actually pretty, like, well...
But here's the thing. Until somebody does it, movies can say whatever.
Yeah,
so,
it's a movie.
It's not like this is some accurate depiction of whatever. So, my thing is with them saying that and with kind of what the movie set as a standard, Loki... escaped with that bad boy.
In one timeline, there was a Loki so that's the rumor I heard, and this is why
that's for the TV show.
That's why I didn't talk about the plus shows. They're going to give a universe where Loki does run off with it and becomes good.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. So, but that actually leave the time travel thing out of the way because I know a lot of people talk about that. Mm-hmm. Cap wielding Mjolnir is literally my moment in the MCU.
Yeah.
When the hammer lifts, hits Thanos, and flies back them in the arms, like, I understand. I mean, you guys definitely heard me screaming.
Oh, yeah, no, I almost stood up. Like,
yeah, I was I was hovering out of my seat.
There were people behind me who did. So I was like, if everybody starts to stand up and clap, this will be the greatest moment I've ever experienced in a movie theater.
I wanted to, but I didn't want to block the view for anybody because everyone needed to see it. But if I was in the back row, I would have.
It was such and there wasn't really a pause in that either. He was just going ham. And whenever he brings the lightning down or whatever, I was like,
when he
sprays the hammer, and then he just slams it down, and lightning hits Thanos in the chest, and it damages his armor. You're like, oh, like,
yeah,
it's so good.
That had to be the moment where I got the most chills, probably.
Yeah, that or when Cap is standing right there in front of the entire army.
That was one of my favorite shots in the MCU.
And he's just standing there. He's got the half-broken shield, the hammer in the other hand, and then you just hear Cap, it's Sam. I'm like, no freaking way. They're all about to show up now.
On your left.
That was so good. I actually said that would happen like almost a year ago. I was like, Sam will come back out of nowhere and say on your left and fly past Cap and like go right at Thanos or something. That clearly didn't happen, but I knew the on your left line would have to come back in some way.
Yeah, I loved everyone showing back up. When he's like, do you need more? He's like, do you wanted more people? And then Giant Man like launches out of the building with Hulk.
And he freaking knocks that freaking giant Chitauri.
The Leviathan. Yeah.
He knocks it out in one hit. Like, remember when those were like a big deal in the first Avengers?
Scarlet Witch when she stood up against Thanos.
That had to be
was
one
pretty
of
good.
the best scenes too.
He's like, I don't even know who you are. He's like, you will. And her eyes just turned red. I was like, she's about to just like slice him in half with her mind powers. Like,
I do think, and this, I'm willing to give this up. Like, I understand there are going to be people that have a problem with it. But when Spidey's standing there with Captain Marvel, he's like, I don't know how you're going to get that through there. And they're like, don't worry, she's not alone. And like, all the women.
I didn't care. I loved it. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was earned. I thought we've come to the point where that was earned.
Yeah, no, like, I don't care.
It's cheesy, but it's earned. Like,
it's a comic book movie.
Yeah.
Comic books literally are some of the cheesiest, like, fiction that you can read.
Two of the most powerful Avengers are women. Let them have this moment of like,
let it go. Like, Captain Marvel is here, and it's a real character. I don't care
if it was like the whole women's movement, like
right, but like these characters have been around in history for decades, so it's like they're getting their moment.
Ryan is a sexist.
Yes, that's what I was about to say, right? No, and I don't want it to come across that way, but one of my weird things is like, how do they all get in that one corner of the battlefield?
They probably saw the gauntlet and they moved towards that.
Yeah, everyone was moving towards.
I don't know. It's just weird. All this craziness is, and then they're all just chilling by Spidey. Like all of a sudden, you're like, that was the only
everybody's gonna protect the kid, okay? Nobody wants Spider-Man to die again.
I'm willing to give it up because there is the gauntlet. Like they're there to defend the gauntlet.
I get that, but it's like. Okay, so everybody's like running there, but they're like just collectively. That's the grouping. I get that they're making that moment to like hit the spot for that.
I mean, if that's gonna be your nitpick, there's a lot of things we could nitpick about, like how people
Spider-Man was literally flying on the back of Valkyrie's Pegasus, holding an Infinity Gauntlet while there's an army of Chitauri invading Earth, and I'm just losing my mind at it. And I'm like, I don't care what happens anymore.
And I'm not saying that I like care about like why that happened or anything. I just thought that was just kind of weird, like that they were just all like it was all right there. Do I really care? No. We got everything we wanted. So, but I did. That was one of the things I was like, that was just kind of strange.
Let's talk about the emotional moments of this
movie.
I
have one.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I have one.
We need to break this down.
I still, no matter how many times I rewatch it, I wish she'd said right before Sam called him, because Thanos is talking to him about how this is the one time this has been personal. He's like, normally I don't take like enjoyment out of this, but he's like, I will enjoy what I do to your planet. Mm-hmm. I wish Cap had been like, even in the moment, been like, as long as one man stands against you,
you'll never succeed.
You'll never claim victory.
So, that's your one complaint. My one complaint is that Hulk does not fight in this movie.
Yep, and that was my other thing. I was just about to mention.
Which I'm okay with in the grand scheme of things because he has the most important moment in the movie of reversing the snap.
Yeah.
Like, I can look past that, but I was really hoping that, like, we would have gotten to see Professor Hulk square off against Thanos.
But if
the part of this is his closure with himself.
Yeah,
and, like, all the struggles. You finally get to see him like come. He's content.
Hulk and
with
Banner
who he
are now
is.
like
one.
But we need to have we should. So let's have a real discussion about Hulk actually effective, being effective during the final battle. Yeah. He is greatly damaged.
Yeah,
he can't do what's he gonna do? Point. So
him saving Rocket and War Machine was more than what any of the other.
Which was a throwback to a comic where he holds up the building.
Mountain,
So he's like holding up the building to save them.
Yeah. So I'm fine with it. I just wish that it would have happened before. Like if they would have went. To a different battle or something, like any sort of fight,
But I wanted him to fight Thanos just because Thanos just like destroyed him in the very beginning of Infinity War or whatever.
But he came to terms with that. So that wasn't his arc was done. The first 10 minutes, the first 5 minutes of him showing up. Oh my gosh, him dabbing makes me so mad.
I thought that was really weird.
When Hulk is like, dab it out. I was like, no, what have you done?
That is the one scene in the movie that I felt like you could have cut.
Oh, and New Master 69.
Oh, no. You have to keep New Master 69. Because that scene is where we see Thor grieving. Like, you have to keep that in because that's such a huge part of his character in the movie.
So, this movie has so much
they emotion from Fortnite.
Yeah, which that is not going to age probably very well because Fortnite's about out.
Maybe. That's what we were debating. Well,
Fortnite will come back with a vengeance now that Thanos is back.
They added a bunch of Avengers stuff into it, so you can play.
You were playing as Thanos when Infinity War.
Well, and now you can play. You have all 4 of their weapons: Stormbreaker, the Iron Man gloves, Yeah, they added a bunch of stuff. So that's really why it's in the movie. It's marketing.
Yeah,
but
it's smart.
I said to some people last night, I was like, that's the one thing that took me out of the movie is that you tell me in 5 years that Fortnite's still gonna be relevant. And they were like, maybe. And I was like, you might be right, actually, but as of right now,
I just don't want to believe that that's true.
Yeah, it should have opened with titles screen just like Fortnite 2, and then it just like
Fortnite 2, the exact same game, just re-released.
So one of my favorite scenes is when they go up to go visit Thor or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
And the crowd reaction of when you barely see the side of his stomach, and everyone's like, what the? And everyone's like, oh.
Listen, I get it. Like,
yeah, no.
Like, I don't get why people hated Thor in this movie, because I've talked to some people and they're like, I hated what they did with Thor.
At all,
yeah, there's some people we know that don't like it.
And I was just like, listen, after everything Thor has been through, this makes perfect sense for his character.
Yeah.
And then, like, with
the line where he goes, I'm still worthy.
I almost cried.
Because, like, the first time I was like, okay. But the second viewing, I was like, that means something to him.
The first line, the first showing, when he said, I'm still worthy, I was like, yeah, you are. You're freaking still worthy. He got his hammer back, and he had that emotional moment with his mom of him getting the advice on what he should do and everything. Like, and it made me care more about Thor: Dark World, which is the film that I think everybody almost collectively agrees is the one that people don't like it as much. For me, it was my bottom one.
It was my bottom.
It was my second to bottom.
Yeah, to Hulk.
Yeah.
So it was like, for me, I was like, that's the one that like almost everybody's like, yeah, okay, but like. His mom's death in that movie was such a major moment for him.
Yeah, everyone does talk about that being like that and Loki being the.
So like her coming back for that scene was a big deal for me, and then him getting the hammer back, I was like, well, obviously this is going to come in handy later when they fight Thanos.
Yeah, well, I think they were like, look, everyone wants to see Cap wield Mjolnir. Let's
right, they had to have a way. I was thinking that he was going to lift it in maybe a battle in the 2012 Avengers, like. Maybe Thanos would have come through the wormhole there, but they didn't go in that direction. Like,
yeah, that was something I had heard.
What I thought that was going to happen, where like old Cap and new Cap and like old Tony and new Tony and like all of them are going to team up to fight Thanos.
Well, yeah, one of the leaks I had read is that they like knock past Cap out because he couldn't die during that battle, and so it's Cap and then like the old Avengers or the young
the
2012 Avengers fighting
with Cap from 2024 or whatever.
2023.
Yeah, 2023, I think.
Well, 2019. Or no, 2018, that's right, 2023. Because it picks up right after, that's right. So yeah, like, for me, I'm just like, when they go back into the past in the Battle of New York and Cap fights himself,
oh my
that was freaking awesome.
That is America's butt.
The theater reaction to that, when he just... Like, the camera pans and he just faces himself, and I'm like, oh,
and he walks off with the scepter. And I'm like...
I can do this all day. I know.
That was so funny.
Or when I thought we were going to get the elevator scene 2.0. Yeah. When he leads in the citadel and goes,
that has to be one of the best moments, too.
He says, Hail Hydra. I was like, yes! Yeah. Like, because I remember when that happened in the comics, and people made a meme of that. Yeah. And I was like, he's sitting in the elevator with the Hydra people. Like, are we going to get the elevator fight again? Or are we getting something completely different? And we did. We got him saying, Hail Hydra.
I want to give a shout out that they were able to get Robert Redford back, Tilda Swinton, Natalie Portman did new scenes.
Yeah.
Like, to get all these people back.
Right, like, you wouldn't think that they would have came back, because
Robert Redford
retired.
Well, so this is what, statistically, if you looked at the numbers, he filmed this before his retirement would have been.
Probably
in fact, so now, canonically, for Robert Redford, this is his last movie he appears in.
What a movie to go out on.
Yeah.
But
I love
all that stuff.
I love the scene between between the Ancient One and
Banner.
They're talking
about how the timelines are affected. He's like, well, then why did he just give up the time stone willingly then?
And she's like, Strange is supposed to be the best of us all. And I was like, yes, he is, ma'am.
That's right. You shut up. You died. Like, you're dead. Like, nobody cares. Give us the time stone.
But yeah, there's a lot of things I enjoyed. Like, seeing them again. Yeah. Like, just reminded me
all
where
those
we
characters,
come from.
Yeah. I was wondering, like, if maybe we would have seen Killmonger at some point, but they had no reason to go to Wakanda.
Yeah, I wish you would just heard somebody go, Tony! And it just Obadiah Stane in the back.
Obadiah Stane. Very clever, Tony. Man, no,
thought you get the soul stones without me noticing, Tony.
Like, I loved, like, it almost felt like in Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
Where, like, Marty McFly is going back through the movie.
Yeah.
Like, seeing everything at the end of the 2012 Avengers, like we get to see new
what
stuff.
happens after, yeah.
Right, like I thought that was so cool. And they're like, "Oh no, Hulk, you can't take the elevator." Like
Hulk hates stairs.
Hulk slamming the door is the reason they lose the Tesseract. So this is technically all Bruce Banner's fault.
Yeah.
Like he undoes the snap, but man, now Loki's out there with a Tesseract, and it's all angry Hulk's fault.
Well, actually, it's all Tony and Ant-Man's fault.
I guess.
But because Tony, yeah. Trying to think of other like minor things before I move into like the two big spoilers.
I really liked when they had to go back in time again to go to the 1970s. I loved everything about that.
Yeah.
There was so many hidden things into that too.
That was pretty emotional. Like seeing Cap in Peggy's office and then seeing Tony and Howard.
Yeah. Tony and Howard talking, and like Tony gets to tell him that he had a daughter. You know, I'm like, and Howard's like, my wife's expecting. Part of me is thinking that he actually missed Tony's birth with that line, maybe, because how would Tony know that his dad was there?
Or
like,
maybe, I don't know.
Like, to me, because like Tony always had the issue with his father that he felt like he never loved him, you know. So like,
yeah, but then he said, I mean, he gives the line like, Dad gave out a few nuggets here and there, pearls or whatever.
Yeah.
And was like, no amount of money can ever buy time. Or
yeah.
And I was like, that was good. That was good to let him know one last time to be like, hey, like. This is something you should remember because like you don't screw this one up.
Yeah, I loved everything with that. Like, and then like when Howard goes to get in the car, he calls the driver Jarvis.
Okay, this pisses me off. So let's pause for a second here.
Right.
No one watched Agent Carter except for me. That character is Jarvis in the Agent Carter show. Right. It's him and Peggy that team up because they don't have Howard. He gives Peggy his butler, which is Jarvis. Right. Jarvis, the AI was inspired from his butler from his childhood. Right. Which was this. And it frustrated me because like everyone in the theater was like, oh, that's so cool. And I like looked, I was like, oh, none of you watched the stupid show. You're the reason it was all canceled. But
I just thought it was a cool reference.
It was. I'm glad that he was the one guy that got to make it from TV show to movie. Yeah. Like, because everyone's always like, well, Daredevil or some of them will make it.
That never happened.
No, but I'm glad he did because he was phenomenal in that show.
I was kind of hoping to see Phil Coulson when they went back to 2012. Like,
yeah, there just wasn't. He'd have been dead by then.
Yeah, he would have been dead at that point. So it's like there's no point. But yeah, no, like I loved everything with Hawkeye in this movie.
Dude, that opening scene, which I knew was going to happen.
You knew it was going to happen, but you can't prepare yourself for that.
Yeah, like, just like because every time it's like every second he loses eyesight of them. It's like,
and like the first person to like realize that everybody's back is Hawkeye. Like,
yeah, because his wife
is calling him. That was the moment I got the most upset in the movie, where I thought like I was gonna lose it. Like just seeing his wife calling him and hearing the birds, and Ant-Man's like, I think we did it,
and then it just get blown up.
I was like, oh my god, they killed Ant-Man and Hawkeye, because I was like, there's no way they lived that. Like I was like, there's no way. I was like, the stronger Avengers are fine, but like Hawkeye's just a regular guy. He just survived an explosion in a building. Like, that was intense. And then them running with the gauntlet. Like,
Hawkeye got a lot of screen time.
He did.
He deserved it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was
him missing out.
It made up for last movie.
Yeah.
But
him missing out in Infinity War.
I was surprised on how much he got.
I did like when T'Challa is like Clint. Just because I acknowledge, like, because before he's like, I don't care. Yeah. He's like, I'm Clint. He's like, I don't care what your name is.
Yeah.
And then now he's like, hey, remember? Cool. Yeah, that was a nice little throwback.
Black Widow was really good in this movie. Like, I normally never really cared for Black Widow in the other movies
so
as
much. Let's move
Scarlett Johansson's a weak point for me. So.
Let's move into the final two spoilers.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the most surprising is Black Widow's death.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would have seen that coming.
As soon as they said they were going to Vormir, I leaned over to the people next to me, I'm like, one of them's not coming back. And I'm like, what? I'm like,
well, they have
one of them is not coming back.
Yeah. So when they were like, Black Widow and Hawkeye are going to Vormir, I was like, I honestly thought it was going to be Hawkeye. I thought Hawkeye was going to do that because he couldn't see himself getting his life back after those 5 years of killing people the way he did.
I did.
Yeah. I was like,
I thought it was going to be Black Widow because she just didn't have any attachments.
But my thought was,
I didn't want it.
My two thoughts.
I was like, Black Widow's getting a movie.
Well, so here, hold on. Let me give my two thoughts were, one, her character development at the beginning. Like, her entire thing was trying to just fix everything.
Right.
So, like, she'd give up anything to fix this.
I know she
would. But two, now that she's dead, people are like, you know, I actually did like Black Widow.
Yep, and
so they're like, I'd go see a solo movie.
Yeah, that's exactly
Hey, remember she died in Endgame? Come see how it all led up to her coming off and killing herself.
Which is so weird.
They could always do a Black Widow movie in a different timeline. Like, I hope they don't do that.
It sounds like it's a prequel.
Like,
it sounds like we're finally going to hear about Budapest because they even reference it again.
Yeah. More of her origin kind of thing.
So, like...
I thought that was really sad. I didn't cry.
I got very emotional, but I didn't cry.
But it sucked thinking, like, okay,
I thought... She was in the exact same position as Gamora was when she was laying on the ground, but you actually see all the blood splattering
Well, you see Gamora's blood, it's just green, so, like...
Right, it's a lot harder to notice, but, like, seeing, like, Black Widow's blood, you're like, man, like, that was sad. And then Hawkeye genuinely did not want her to die.
Yeah.
Thanos was willing to kill Gamora. That's what makes that scene so different in, like,
well, but Thanos didn't want to kill Gamora either.
He didn't want to, but he went through with it. Yeah. He could have stopped.
I ignored my destiny once.
I'm wondering what that means. Like, is there going to be a prequel Thanos movie where he ignores his destiny?
That was on Titan.
He's gonna get his own solo movie of just
Thanos doesn't need a solo movie though. Like, as much
Infinity War was his movie.
Yeah, no, he has more screen time than any character in that movie. Like,
it's him. No, I want to see those 21 days of him on the farm.
just a series called The Farm, and it's just like 3 episodes.
I literally once they opened the door, I just thought of Shrek or whatever when he was wearing that thing. And I was like, gosh.
Oh wait, we didn't talk about that at the very beginning of the movie. How did you guys react when Thor literally just cuts off Thanos' head? Because I read that as a spoiler like a week before the movie came out. I was like, this can't be real. I was like, there's no way that Thanos dies 15 minutes into this movie.
A little in shock, but once they said the stones were gone, I was like, well...
Then there's no point.
Well, once he was damaged, I was like, well, I guess the one at the end, like, it's got to be some, like, time travel has got to have, like, some kind of effect.
Right.
Yeah, I was too confident that time travel was going to be involved with this.
I think everyone's...
Yeah,
I was like...
I just didn't see Thanos going out that easily. I thought
he was just damaged. Yeah, like he was damaged and like done.
Yeah,
like
after
he even
says
says
the stones a second time, it almost killed him.
Even the younger or the past Thanos was like, destiny was fulfilled. Like I fulfilled what I had to do. So like death is just inevitable.
Yeah.
So like
I love that line. I'm inevitable.
I'm inevitable. Is it inevitable or inevitable? Yeah, we'll just say inevitable. That sounds right.
I thought it was.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because he says it then, and then. Past Thanos says it when he picks up the gauntlet at the end.
Well, when he tries to snap. And,
yeah.
Which leads us into our...
Big spoiler.
Big spoiler was the death of Iron Man. Which, I mean, like, did everyone see it coming?
I think so.
Yes.
Like, I mean, the fact that Strange gave up the time stone for Tony to live, that was my clue.
Again, the moment when he puts up that one, or like when... and he's not supposed to, like, give any hints or anything, but they just look at each other across the battlefield or whatever.
Because I think Tony was having that thought of like, should I do this? And then when Strange was like, Tony was like, okay, that's the only way.
Yeah, he's like, this is
the one. Like, I loved that. I loved like right before that, Captain Marvel and Thanos square off for just a little.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, when he headbutts her.
When he headbutts her and she just doesn't move, I was like, all right, you've won me over with Captain Marvel completely.
Yeah, when she's like pushing him down, he's like, oh, pull Soul Stone, and like
he pulled that freaking Power Stone out and just yeeted her across that field.
I didn't expect that to happen. So I was
like that was so awesome. Like, and during that whole battle, everybody has a moment. Like even freaking Wasp has a moment with like Ant-Man. Like every character like gets their like quick moment. Like when Spider-Man came back through the portal, everybody freaking lost it again. Mm-hmm. Like he's standing there next to the Guardians and Doctor Strange, and then he and Iron Man hug, and he's like, "Do you remember when I dusted like?" I woke up and, like, I don't know what's happening. Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange is like, we gotta go. It's been 5 years, and he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's really interesting for me for the future of the MCU. All these people coming back who don't realize that it's been 5 years.
Yeah. Okay, but hold on. We need to stop. Before we jump forward. What we want to. Yeah. Iron Man's death.
Right. Like, that was sad.
It didn't really hit me. It hit me in 2 scenes when Peter. Was talking to him, and he's like, we won. We won, Mr.
Stark. Like, it's the reverse from the last movie where they lost, and Iron Man is watching Spider-Man die. This time they've won, and Iron Man is dying in front of Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean, like, even Pepper being like, it's okay, you can rest.
Yeah, that got me.
Out of anything, because he just struggled with so many problems and stuff throughout. And I think that was like her way of like he's at peace kind of thing.
His entire journey of Iron Man was him
probably
trying to protect the Earth, and they even go back to that at the beginning when he first gets back to Earth, and he's like, I told you all we needed a suit of armor around the world to protect us, and even if that meant giving up our freedoms, that's what we should have done, and we didn't. And he like gets angry at Cap. He even calls him a liar.
Yeah.
I was like, man, they are really giving us like a solid performance between these two as our leads. Like, Iron Man was the one character that did not want to go back and travel back in time at first. He was like, it can't be done. We can't do anything about it. We have to like stop.
Well, because then he had his life.
He got his life.
He lucked out, unlike several other
unlike
people.
everybody else. Yeah, he got lucky, you know, and he didn't want to give up his daughter, you know, like.
But, they've always pointed off Iron Man as a sacrifice guy, right? I mean, when they go through, he always knows there's that moment, and they hint at that. He has the flashback or the dreams or whatever.
Right. Well,
you actually sent me something that I thought was really good.
Well, so first the sacrifice moment was like the first Avengers, like because Cap says,
"You're never the one to make the sacrifice play," and Brandon actually sent me a picture, and it was like. The two captions, it was like, you're not the one to make the sacrifice play, and it shows Tony holding the gauntlet, snapping, and he says, and I am Iron Man, after Thanos says, I'm inevitable. And then the other one is, there's nothing special about you, Rogers, everything good about you came out of a bottle, and it shows Cap holding the hammer. It's like, both of those characters got moments that were super important for their character and their...
My thing is like, they've hinted at this for so long, that, like, Iron Man's destiny, and what I think deep down is what they're trying to get at, is that he... was born to make that sacrifice, basically.
Yeah.
Now, Steve Rogers, he is like pure at heart. Like he wants to do the right thing no matter what. But Iron Man is not pure at heart.
Yeah.
But he is almost making up for that by being that sacrifice. I think, and he knows that he had everything right, but he realizes that, hey, I may have everything going well for me, and I have my family and stuff, but this is not why I'm here. This is not why I had all that. So.
Yeah, when it does the music playing and like
they show everybody.
They show everyone and
they push the arc reactor out into the water.
Proof that Tony Stark has a heart.
That was so emotional. And then like his speech that he records for all of them before.
Yeah, he's like everything will go according to plan.
Yeah.
When he says it 3,000 times more.
He's like, I love you 3,000. I was like, oh my gosh, like. That was so good. And then, like, I even loved the end credits, like, animation that they did.
Where everyone, the signatures.
Yeah.
Somebody said it's a callback to Star Trek 6, where the original, it's Generations.
Yeah.
Which, Feige's a huge Star Trek fan, and they reference it in the movie. Game. Is, like, oh my gosh. All the original cast, like Leonard Nimoy and the rest of them, all signed their names and then put in the credits next to it.
Yeah.
As like a callback to all the original ones, handing off to like when Picard and all them took over.
Yeah. Which is essentially what this movie's doing.
Yeah, it is. Because like especially even when like Iron Man's like, "You're new blood. We need you."
Yeah.
We're too old. We gotta get out of the way.
Right.
I thought it was also interesting. We haven't mentioned is Thor giving up his being king. To.
Yeah, that was the thing that a lot of people were like, "I don't like what they did with Thor in this movie," and I'm like. But that was his character. Like
his mom even says, like, you were always trying to be the person, like, everyone wants you to be. You're not being the person you want to be.
Right. Which was the whole point.
Yeah.
So I like that he's going off with the Guardians.
Yeah. I think after Thor 1, he never really wanted to be king. And
no. He even said, I'd rather be a good man than a good king.
Yeah. And like T'Chaka says, it's hard for a good man to be
a good king.
And I think if Thor Ragnarok never happened, if they just never made that movie, I don't think that's how the story arc would have ended, because I don't think Chris Hemsworth wanted to do anything.
Yeah, I think they would have killed Thor.
Yeah. And I think they would have straight up killed him.
Yeah.
So now that he is more into his character and is more humor-based than anything, I think it attracted him more.
Yeah, pairing him up with the Guardians, I think is a smart
it's going to be
a
very good move just because they have some chemistry.
We're getting Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and then we might get a fourth Thor. Or maybe they'll just keep Thor in the Guardians.
Again,
nothing
until like after Far From Home.
Yeah, we won't know anything for sure.
The other thing that we should close on, Hawkeye just lives out his days. Like, his character arc was just kind of like there. Stanley's cameo was cute.
Yeah, it was his final one.
Yeah, that was a little like everyone cheered and goes because like it hit everyone.
Yeah,
which like. I thought, like, in the credits that they would have done, like, in memory or, like, done something, but I think they're going to save that for Spider-Man.
No, so my understanding is that was all Captain Marvel's. And then they weren't doing, this is the last one. Everyone said that this is the last Stan Lee cameo.
Yeah.
They cut the one from Far From Home.
Well,
That's just crazy to me.
Because it's not fully Marvel Studios and Disney, so they basically just put it under their roof.
Yeah, but which is crazy to me because his Spider-Man's like his.
I mean, his like bread and butter is Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man.
Yeah, like if you want to go to like what the ones he cared about the most.
Yeah, but Spider-Man was like a big thing.
Hulk and Thor were also up there, but like, yeah, no, I kind of wanted it to end on Far From Home, but I'm glad that it ended on a movie that was so big that everybody was going to go see, that being his final one.
Yeah, but they did the immemorial to Stan in Captain Marvel, so like...
Yeah, like at the beginning.
They said like, that was why they did it then, because it was more like...
It was
relevant.
Right, it was right at that moment. Like, that was the first Marvel movie since then, so I get that.
Yeah.
I hope that, like, somewhere in the future, like, during the credits of the Marvel movies, they always just say in memory of Stan Lee.
Maybe. I wonder what they do. Or, like,
in memory of, like, all the people who worked on those comics. Not just Stan Lee, because there's a lot of people who've worked on those that are gone. Like, Steve Ditko, for example.
Yeah, it took him forever to acknowledge Ditko.
Spider-Verse was the first one to do that.
Yeah, because Stan Lee co-created a lot of characters that everyone just associates now with Lee. But there's a lot of... Anyway, I thought Cap's arc closing was... I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were like, I don't want him to go back in time, but I was like, no, that has to be his ending.
Yeah. I think
like, he has to either die or he has to go back in time.
Out of all the story, or like out of the three mains, I think he has the best closure.
He gets to live. Well, I mean, Thor gets to live too.
Yeah. Right, but he gets
Thor's a different one.
He gets to finally have the life that he always wanted.
Yeah, I finally got that life Tony was telling me to get.
Right.
And I thought it was
Natasha
an interesting
told him to get that life in Endgame.
The end scene, the very last scene, where he's just dancing.
Yeah,
I thought that was a really
touching,
that was
but weird way to end that whole movie.
Well, because it was all Cap wanted in the beginning.
Yeah.
That goes back to Cap's story, and I would argue now at this point, like looking at the MCU as a whole, Iron Man may have started it, but I think Cap became the main character, at least to the public's eye.
Cap in Endgame was the main character. Iron Man was the main character in Infinity War. They were each their respective movies.
Right. So it's like, for me, it had to end with Cap dancing with Peggy. Like, once they, like, kept talking about how he had to move on, and, like, they specifically referenced him going back into the ice in 85. They show him looking at her picture on the compass and everything. I was like, he's going back in time.
Yeah, they played that compass up a lot. I did also really like when him and Sam are talking.
And he gives him his shield.
Yeah, and Sam's like, it feels like somebody else's, and Steve's like, it shouldn't. I actually cried the third time. I was like, oh.
I can't wait to see what they do with.
Yeah, I hope they rename that to Cap and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I hope so. I know a lot of people who are upset that Bucky didn't get the shield, but I was like, I feel like you have to give it to Sam.
This is the debate I was having with somebody, and I told them this is how I look at it. Bucky's story is all like Cap's. It's stuck in the past, where Sam is the here and now. Sam is what represents here and now. Bucky represents America and the 40s, 70s.
Yeah.
40s. Yeah, 1940s.
Yeah. So for me, I'm just like, no, it needs to be Sam, because Sam was also the first person that helped Cap adjust to essentially modern life, you know? Like, Sam was his partner. He was the guy that helped him out right there with Black Widow. So, like, who better to pass the shield on to than the man that you bonded with at the beginning of Winter Soldier? You know, like, because, like, Cap 1 ends on a dark note of him waking up in this new future that he knows nothing about. Avengers 1 literally takes place like right after that.
It's like a few days.
Yeah, it's like a couple days or maybe a month or so, whatever. But like right after that, you have Cap in Winter Soldier. Like he's doing some missions with S.H.I.E.L.D., like going after Hydra, because that's all he knows.
Yeah.
But like he starts to form a real bond with somebody. So it's like it makes sense that he would pass that on to Sam. Like, sure, Bucky was like his motivation for everything that he did up to that point, but Bucky's at a point now where he doesn't need Cap anymore.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like now Sam gets to be Captain America. And I thought that was really cool because like Bucky's a strong enough character on his own to not need that shield. I think Sam getting that shield means he gets to carry the legacy of Cap. Whereas Bucky has his own, I think. I thought it was fine. Like,
yeah. So, with that, that's closing out our episode 15.
Yep.
Avengers Endgame.
Next week, I don't know what we're going to do.
We'll do something.
We'll just watch Endgame again.
It'll be May. We could do...
Well, we're gonna have a big Game of Thrones segment because
we're talking about Battle of Winterfell.
Yeah.
We could talk maybe a little bit more Star Wars because May 4th will have happened. We can release the episode then. I don't know.
Oh gosh, I have a wedding on May the 4th I have to go to.
Well, I just remind you, buddy.
But yeah, thank you for listening. I'm Brandon.
I'm Zach.
I don't know why we were announcing our names.
Because they forgot. They listened for so long.
Oh.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore. We haven't recorded an episode in 2 weeks.
So, thank you all so much for listening to us this long. We really loved Endgame. I hope that you did as well. I am super excited to see where the MCU goes at this point now. It's never going to be the same again, I don't think. But I think the future is still really bright for them. And with that, I think that's all we've got for today. So thank you all so much for listening, and we will catch you next week.
Bye.